barre la route à Wojcinski. La foule prétendait qu'il y avait obstruction, mais c'est lui qui avait la rondelle. Voilà Bourret. Pour Dampousse, le but! Vincent Dampousse! Un but historique, Yvon, tout à fait.
Historic goal there, the first goal ever scored at the Molson Center. You now know it as the Bell Center. That came on March 16th, 1996. If you can believe it, we're running up on 30 years of the Bell Center, nay Molson Center. And it has become a very important venue in the city, not just for hockey, but for other sporting events and, of course, the concerts. And we wanted to reminisce about 30 years of the Bell Center with Brendan Kelly, someone that covers both arts and entertainment and sports in this city, from the Montreal Gazette, also the author of the book Habs Nation. Brendan, you are perfect for this segment.
It is indeed right up my alley. I mean, you mentioned Habs Nation, and there's a whole section, as you know, because you read the book, about the opening of the Molson Center, because it really was. This was one of the big events. Of course, there's Stanley Cup wins a few years earlier, but this was one of the big events of the modern era of the Montreal Canadiens, right? Opening in the spring of 1996. So yeah, right up my alley, because it's the rock and roll thing too, and I think I'm the only guy who's the music critic / Habs critic, so...
And does it feel though, Brendan, it's showing the age here? Because, it wasn't too long ago where these types of segments would be, let's look back at the Canadians playing at the Montreal Forum. And now, it's 30 years of the Bell Center. We have to reminisce about this building.
It is kind of hard to believe, because it seems like yesterday, and I can remember when it opened. I remember the last game, which is today, is the anniversary of the last game at the Forum, Canadiens beating the Dallas Stars 4-1. I can remember that, and then remembering the opening of what then was called the Molson Center. And one of the things that's interesting is, it's generally a pretty well-liked building now, but at the time it wasn't. The reaction, you probably remember, was very negative. People were like, the corridors are too tight. They still are too tight. They were kind of badly designed. And it's a much bigger building. It's like 21,000 as opposed to 16 for the Forum. So people are like, oh my God, I'm up at the top rows and I can't see anything. And of course the seats are more expensive. And the big thing was, it didn't have the atmosphere of the Forum. And let's face it, 24 Stanley Cups, I believe 23 of them won at the Forum, because one of the early ones was somewhere else. But the reality is that, the atmosphere of the Forum was winning all these great Stanley Cups and these great moments, and including the Cup 93, where they beat the Los Angeles Kings at the Forum. The Don Cherry, too many men on the ice, with Guy Lafleur scoring. All these classic moments. And let's face it, 30 years later, we have to admit, and everyone's going to say, oh my God, Debbie Downer, there's no Stanley Cups at the Bell Center, which is what it became after the Molson Center. So people like, where are the ghosts of the Forum? And it's never really happened that they've moved down St. Catherine Street and down Mountain to the Bell Center. So it still doesn't have the same history. But really at the beginning, a lot of I remember Collins in the Gazette saying, we don't like this place. And I think people grew to love it, but at first it was seen as, hey, I'm not really crazy about this, which is kind of normal, because you live with the Forum, and the Forum was, there's all those memories, but even just think of the Forum itself, with the escalators as hockey sticks. It was just such a part
the thing
of
is
Montreal.
Here, and the thing is this is my Forum. I wasn't old enough for the Forum. The Bell Center is my Forum, and I wonder 30 years later, Brendan, how you view the building. Whether that's by, I still remember my first seeing Radiohead at the Bell Center. I at the Molson Center, as it was called then. I'm never going to forget that night. How do you view this building 30 years later as that venue for concerts and hockey and the rest?
You know what? It's become a venue that we've really liked and that I like. Look, I still prefer to, I saw Radiohead at the Bell Center 5 or 6 years ago, and it was totally amazing. But obviously, my ideal concert experience is seeing someone at MTELUS or the Corona Theater, or whatever the heck they call it now. But you know what? The thing about the Bell Center, it's not so much. Firstly, the sight lines are great almost anywhere for both concerts and for hockey games, and it's about the atmosphere in the place. And I think the city has adopted it. Think about it for hockey for a second. People, you hear this all the time from players from other teams, and they say, oh my God, there's nothing like playing at the Bell Center on a Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
The atmosphere there, and famously, at the rink in Toronto is dead. It's a bunch of boring business people, because that's what Toronto is. Our audiences, Montreal audiences, are great for concerts, and crowds are great for hockey games. So it's become a great place, honestly. I mean,
is it like Madison Square Garden? Would you call it like it's Montreal's Madison Square Garden?
I think it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the central meeting place in the city. I mean, I think there's things that could be improved. I think that, remember they put that, kind of new food offering in the basement there, and it's okay, but it could be better, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if one thing I could say is that they could, and they've got so much money, they could improve the food offering. They could improve the drink offering. I like everyone else, specialty beers. Why can't I get? I guess you can get an IPA, but it could be better. There could be more variety. You play better music. Oh my God,
yeah.
You've got to play better music at the hockey games. We're in Montreal, the coolest city in the world.
Hey, I worked with Vinny at the Expos. He's a good guy. I like our DJ.
Yeah, but but they could throw, they should play. They're actually playing a little more French, but they should play cooler stuff. But I do think the atmosphere is great. The sight lines.
And Brendan, you're just cutting out there. You're cutting out there, Brendan. I'll just add this. Like, when it opened, we're like, oh, it's so steep. The seating is so steep. But that's what ensured everyone had a great view, and that to have 21,000 seats and you still feel like it's cozy, that's part of it. So some of those design choices, I know I hate the corridors being so tight, but some of the design choices seem to have worked out 30 years later.
Well, I think for sure that the visuals, like the sight lines, are great. I mean, I think I don't really go, but I have friends who go see games all over the National Hockey League, and they say it's unparalleled how good you can see the games at the Bell Center. And because it's so steep, you're right. Like, you're right up at the top,
mm-hmm.
and it's still very exciting to see. So the sight lines work. I still think it's a design flaw, the corridors. It really is a problem in the intermission when you're trying to get to the washroom or to get yourself
I don't go.
a drink.
I just stay in my seat, Brendan, because it's so annoying.
No, it's totally crazy. And I don't know about you, but it's like I get a little claustrophobic in that kind of situation. But for the main thing, it's great to watch a hockey game. The crowd, look in the last couple of years, because it was tough for a long time because the hockey team wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Now we've got an exciting team, and the atmosphere, look at this year, with all these dramatic come-from-behind victories and overtime and shootouts. And
it's electric. It's electric, and it does stand out in the NHL. Brendan, listen, I have to leave it there. You come back real soon, all right?
Okay, perfect. Appreciate it, Elias.
Brendan Kelly from the Montreal Gazette, author of the book Habs Nation.
Unmistakably Canadian.
It's the music that raised you.
The artists raising the bar.
Hi, this is Brian Adams.
Hey, my name's Brett Emmons. I'm from the Glorious Sons.
Hi, I'm Nelly Furtado.
Made in Canada. The station that champions Canadian music.
Loud, proud, and all yours.
No passports required. Just press play.
Tap into Made in Canada now on iHeartRadio.ca
or the free iHeartRadio app.